Okay, and we are live. We are live right now. All right, we got a few fellas up in here. We had a discussion last time, and Chandra was telling us all about pick-me's and mammies. And we had so many questions, but we didn't get all the answers. Dang, you over there getting blitzed for this one. All right, but we didn't get all the answers that we wanted, so we figured we'd give Chandra the platform and go ahead and let her explain to us what a pick-me or a mammy is. And I'd like to know, well, explain what it is, and we'll move forward with the next question. Go ahead. You got the floor.
Okay. A pick me and a mammy is a black male identified woman, which
Wait,
is
one question. I hate to stop you right there, but
Go
are
ahead.
they the same thing? Is a pick me and a mammy the same thing? Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
Okay. And unfortunately, I think most women, especially older black women in the black community, are pick me's and mammies. And they're black male identified. Like for instance, our last podcast, no offense to the girl who was on her last time, but she identified everything y'all said. She identified with y'all. She basically was completely on you guys' side. Like she sounded just like a black male. And they ride for black men. They take up for black men, and then they teach their daughters, oh, you hold a black man down. They that song where it says what's that song? Where she said, "Don't blame Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie is just a man." That's a mammy. It's like, oh, he's a man. He it's okay. You excuse this. He could be like this. You hold him down no matter what. They teach their girls wrong, and that's what's wrong with the black community, I think.
Okay, how do you figure that mode of thinking brings detriment to the black community, just in your perspective?
In a respectful, not so respectful
You don't
way.
have to be.
Okay, it turns the
You
black
don't have to
males
be
into
that.
bitches.
I mean,
It
speak your
turns
mind.
them into straight bitches. That's what it turns them into. And then they know that the black women, those black mammies, gonna be there for them no matter what, no matter how traitorous they are, no derelict, no matter how they not doing nothing, they gonna always have a black woman there. Because most black women want black men, and they accept them any way they are. And because of these mammies. And a lot
Now,
of mammies coddle their boys too.
now, just to clarify though, like, no, go ahead, finish. No, my bad. I keep butting in. I really want you to get out.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Other than most black women are kind of mammyish. Like even me, I have to check myself sometimes in my way of thinking because I was raised to be that way. And I have to think I have mammy ways. I think most black women have mammy ways, especially older black women.
And again, uh how does that affect the community as a whole? The
Because
fact that women identify with black.
because that's like I said, it turns them into bitches. And then that's why the black community is so messed up. And that's why black women are running the black community. That's why, you know what I'm saying? It just don't make no sense. And I see it all the time. These boys get caught up by their mom, especially when they do it wrong. Like, I tell my boys now, you know what I'm saying? My son is in a relationship. I don't coddle him and try to make him feel good. And when he's doing something wrong, he's doing something that's scandalous or not doing right. I tell him, like, you a man, you need to step up. I don't coddle him, but a lot of black women do. They coddle their sons, and their sons can't do no wrong.
Okay, anybody feel free to chime in. Anybody got any questions for Chandra? So we can go ahead and get this conversation going.
I'll say this, that I can agree with the ideal of like black women and women coddling their sons, because that is something that's like very true. I think that more so like pinpoints on like the issue as to why like certain men are a certain type of way because they were coddled by women. I mean, So I think that might be a bigger issue in my perspective, you know what I'm saying, on what's going on. Yeah. I think that's more so the issue than I guess a pick me, because it's more relevant in my life, seeing like how women coddle their sons, you know what I'm saying, don't allow them, just I don't, just always protecting them and keeping them out of trouble, and saying that, I can agree with that.
So Chandra, you spoke about pygmies coddling their men, basically, their significant others. Do you you didn't speak much to that, how that affects the community?
Ooh, yeah, it severely does. And I was definitely a mammy when it comes to that. When a pick me, boy, I tell you, like black women take like in other communities, and not saying all because life is life, people are people, but in other communities, like women expect something of their men when they get married. You know what I'm saying? They expect them to have something when they're dating. Black women, they don't give a crap if this nigga sleeping on the air mattress in somebody's living room. No car, no job. They take them just as they are. And I think that's kind of a mammy, and they kind of like turn into their mamas instead of their women. You know what I'm saying? I feel like men are supposed to provide, they're supposed to be the leaders, and women are supposed to submit. But what are you submitting to? You know what I'm saying? You can't submit to somebody that can't protect and provide for you. How can you submit?
Okay. Tony making them all them faces over. Wait, what's your name, sister? Sister, just listening. All right. Well, you making a lot of faces over there. I want to see what you got to say, because I think she kind of addressed. She kind of threw a couple shots.
Because in last week's podcast, I was specifically speaking on what black women do wrong. And she automatically took that as in me being what her definition of a pick me or mammy is. Only because I was pointing out what black women do wrong. That has nothing to do with the effect. With the that those two don't coincide with each other. Because I'm
What was the topic though? Was the topic about black women, or was it about wasn't it about like black males?
No, we had got off to, we actually had about 3 or 4 topics. And the topic had got on us talking about having trustworthy role models around your sons. And I started saying, if you don't have at least 3 trustworthy role model men in your life circle, you need to evaluate yourself. And that's when you started attacking me and
I
calling me a
wouldn't
pick
say
me.
attacking you, but no, by that time, if you rewatch the show, every topic we got on, you talked about what black women didn't do. That's all you
Yeah,
talked about.
yeah.
That's
Because you
all
know
you
why?
ever talked, because you're black male identified. You
No,
spoke
no,
just like a
no,
nigga. That's how you was speaking
no,
just like them. I felt like alone. I
no.
felt alone on that podcast. I was up there with all men. That's what I felt like.
Okay, listen. The reason why you feel like that, because I feel like we are the first teachers. So those men that you're talking about, and you swear up and down there's no good black men in the black communities, those men are being raised by women who don't respect men. So they turn into these bitch ass niggas that you're talking about. But we're still the first teachers at the end of the day. The
Maybe they
results
turn
of
into bitch ass niggas because they don't have no niggas around because they've been abandoned. So
my
that's the black
point
woman's fault.
exactly.
But
Listen,
that's the
listen.
black woman's fault though.
Yes, because you're still responsible. You're still responsible to be a mother. You're still responsible to put your son around upstanding, trustworthy men. And if you don't have trustworthy men around you in your life
There's
circle,
not many
then there's
in
an
the black
issue with
community.
you.
Not
There's an
many in the black
issue with
community. That's
you.
not an issue with me.
That
That's the
no,
issue
no,
with the
no,
men. That ain't got nothing to do with
no.
me. There is not a lot.
If
I mean,
you
I find a lot of upstanding black women in the black community. So how
can
is
I
that an
finish?
issue with us? Now,
Chandra, let her finish. Let her finish her point. Let her finish her point. You will be able to chime in. Get your notepad. Write it down.
Let me
Let's
finish.
move forward. Go ahead.
At the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says. We are the fault of what black communities are like right now. It's our fault. It's the results. It's our fault. Our aunts, our grandmothers, grandpas, whatever you want to call it. The results of this generation is our fault because at the end of the day, if there is no father in the home, it's still your responsibility to raise that boy right, to put him around. Let me finish. To put him around upstanding, trustworthy men. And if you do not have trustworthy men in your life circle, then you are the problem, not that man that left. And that's why he left your ass.
Chandra.
Because they abandoned, it's our fault. You sound just like a nigga. That's exactly what I mean. How the hell is it our fault? We tried. I mean, we can't. You're right. We can't raise men, obviously. And whose fault is that? It's the black men. They're just supposed to be the leaders, not us. They are supposed to be the leaders, not us.
Okay, listen.
So whatever's wrong with the black community is their fault. We play a part in it, yes, by being mammies. First off.
Go ahead and chime in, Tony.
Question is, how did you try? How did you try to keep that man at home with your family? How did you try? What is your version of trying?
I did more than try. I sacrificed.
Okay, how? Give examples. Give examples. Okay.
Because I stayed with him, regardless of his doing it. I stayed with him. I'm still with my husband. After all the stuff we've been through, I'm still with him. And I feel like it's too late for me. I feel like I've been with him over 20 something.
Right now.
Let me finish.
You don't even have control over your kids right now.
20-something years. I have 7 kids. All my 7 kids are mine, and I love him. But for my girls, there's hope for them, and I'm so glad. Hey, shout out to Cynthia G. Sorry, shout out to her. She's waking a lot of black women up, and my girls know better. And I just hope that they choose different. You know what I'm saying? I hope they do. And my sons aren't like these guys. I taught my sons. I'm sorry, they don't think like these black guys. They don't. And I got 5 of them. So I did my contribution to the black community.
But just to chime in for a second, and Chandra, mute your mic if you can. Just to chime in for a second, you know, as a woman that's raising 5 boys right now, how do you feel your perspective, and let's just call it what it is, and disdain for black men affects them?
Well, they don't take offense because they know I'm not talking about them. See, men, real black men who aren't like that, they just quiet on it because if they speak up, they get shunned by other black men. They don't take offense to what I say because they're not like that. So I feel like if the shoe fits, wear it.
You know what it kind of, I'm going to let you chime in 1 second.
Let it fly.
You know what it kind of sounds like to me? It sounds like when a racist white person meets me and they hear that I'm intelligent, articulate, and they're like, you know what? You're not like the rest of them. You're not like the rest.
Well, you know, black men are the biggest.
You're one of the good ones. Go ahead.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because black men are the biggest white supremacists there are. You know what I'm saying?
I want you to explain that. Let me let 6 get in. 666, go ahead.
All right. So I got a question. So, you know what I'm saying? When you was saying like, you know, they don't get offense to that because real black men, you know, who don't fit that description, you know, wouldn't get upset by that statement. Could it be the same notion when it comes to like black women? You know what I'm saying? That things that need to be identified, like, I mean, if it don't fit them, you know, as you say, like, if the shoe fit, wear it, right? So it's like, wouldn't that not be like the same thing that applies to women as well because of the things that can get said about black women? Like, if they get upset, would that not mean the same thing you just saying?
Okay. Well, the thing is, the main thing that black men complain about black women are like stuff that we can't change. Our skin color, our hair, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that God gave us. Now as far as attitude, they say so much about black women's attitude, but like I said, they accept it on a Latin woman, calling it a feisty Latina. You know, I said this last time. But so things that they accept on other races of women, they don't accept on black women. We got to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the same. We talk about things that y'all do, like abandon your kids. Okay? One thing, and that's not God given. You guys talk about our features and our hair and getting weeds. You talk about the nappy hair, but then you always see niggas go after the girls with the weaves and the eyelashes and stuff. So you say you want these natural women, but these natural women aren't getting wiped up. Just like the mammies aren't getting wiped up. Them ride or die bitches is down for y'all. Y'all don't even like. Y'all go to y'all preferences. So I don't understand why mammies are mammies, because the black men aren't rooting for you like you rooting for them.
One thing about it, I'ma always root for a black man whether they want me or not. My daddy's black. My grandfather's black. My great grandfather is black. I'm always rooting for black men. It's where I come from. I come from a black nutsack.
What about your
Of
mama
course.
and your
I
aunties
am,
and your female cousins and you?
and
Because
when
they
you're
not rooting
wrong,
for you
you're
like that.
wrong. Let me tell you
On the
something. When
internet,
you're
they talking
Chandra,
bad
Chandra,
about black
let her
women.
finish her point. Go
They
ahead.
talking bad about black women.
look, at
Go
the
ahead.
end of the day, when you're wrong, you're wrong. I'm not taking sides with women just because y'all want to put the blame, all of the blame on men. I'm not
You're
going to
not a
jump on
woman.
the side. Can I finish? Can
You're
I
not a woman.
finish?
You said y'all. I'm just asking.
Chandra, just let her finish her thought. Mute your mic for a second. Write it down if you got it. If you got to, go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
reason why I'm saying this is because I do not agree with majority of black women. I'm not going to just jump on the side with black women and say, okay, we right. Fuck all the niggas. It ain't no good niggas in this community just because I am a black woman too. When wrong is wrong, right is right. At the end of the day, there are good. That's why you don't have a man right there. Tell me.
I'm married. Married, honey. 23 years. What? 7 kids all by my husband. So what you talking about? Yeah, that part.
But is he still there?
Do you want me to go in the living room and show you him? Do you want me to go show you him? Yes, he's right in there.
And go
Let me
ask
call
him,
him
is
in
he
here.
happy? And go ask him, is he happy? Because with the way
Probably
the
because I'm
way
trying to
that
make him. You want me to put him on? He
Put
must
them
be
on. Put
happy.
them on. Put them on.
He must be happy because I left him and he had got the whole relationship. He got with a mammy that was doing everything for him. And when I said, you know what, I changed my mind, I want you back. He came back. So it
he
must be
might be, you
something.
know what?
It must
He
be
might be
something. She was giving
adapted.
him
He might be,
everything. She was giving him
you know
everything.
what?
That bitch had more money than me, and he left
You know
that
what?
bitch.
That
So
might be the environment he's comfortable in. You might be just
yeah,
like his mother and his
because
auntie.
I know.
He
I said
might
I
be
got mammy
he
ways.
might be
Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I tell
he
you I
might
had
be
mammy ways?
comfortable in that type.
Didn't I
He
tell
might
you
be
I had mammy
comfortable.
ways? But let's put him on. Come on. Let me see if he wouldn't come on. I'm down.
So
Hold up.
if you
It's gonna
but
get
my
spicy.
thing is, if she's married and she's happy, why is she saying there aren't any good black men in the community? So you saying your husband is not even a good black man?
Spicy.
Your husband is not a trustworthy man, a black man in the community, because you said there aren't
Little
any.
cricket soundboard.
Hold up. You want to get on the podcast because this girl gonna say that's why you don't have a man now. Huh?
Of course, he not
I
gonna
just
tell
want
the
no.
truth in
They just
front of
want to
you.
talk to you. Dante asked if you want to get on. They just want
I
to
mean, if
talk
Of,
to
he
you.
wants
of,
to,
Does
he can
she
get
have?
on.
Were you happy? And just
and he
he's
not
asking
gonna tell
questions.
the truth in front of you, so he can be fighting all night. Come
We we
on
don't
now.
we haven't fought since he got back. I promised him we weren't gonna do that no more. I told you what happened. We
Oh,
broke up.
no more.
We were
So there's
we were
history. There's
separated for
history
eight
of
months,
fighting.
honey. We
Oh
were
yeah.
separated for 8 months. We're
He
not gonna
not.
fight. He can tell the
Don't
truth.
even
I
put him
have
on the
no problem
phone.
with that.
Don't even
Okay,
put him on the phone. He ain't gonna
what,
tell the truth.
well,
He ain't gonna tell the truth. He
but you
ain't
were
gonna tell the
talking
truth.
crap,
Don't
and
even put
I
him on the
proved you
phone.
wrong, honey, because I got a man. That part. Mm.
No, she did.
It's not the point of having one, it's having one that's
Next,
happy where he's at.
next.
Not content and
23
comfortable, but
years,
happy.
7 kids. I must be doing something right. I mean, I'm just
Okay,
saying.
okay, but can you still tell me how is it? Are you saying that your husband
Do
is
you
not a
have a
good black
man?
man?
Do you have a
Wait,
man?
wait, wait, wait. We can get
No,
to your
answer
question.
the question.
Wait, no. If we're gonna answer
Mm.
questions, we're gonna answer them in order. She asked you a specific question. Once you answer her question, we'll move on to your question. Let's go.
So are you saying, Sandra,
What?
that your husband is not a good black man in the community? Because you said there weren't any.
He's better than some. Like he not a colorist. You know what I'm saying? He loved black women and stuff like that. But he already know. We talked about things. It's issues. We have issues. There's certain things that he do that I feel like
That's
is
still not
wrong, and he
answering
gonna
the
get right.
question.
Because I'm not
That's
gonna
not
put his
answering the
business
question.
out. I'm not gonna put
No,
his
you don't have
business
to
out
put.
of what he do and do not do. I don't
No,
have to
no.
answer
She just asked it.
exactly.
She asked a
No, you're
specific
not answering the
question
question.
because you said
It's a
there
What?
aren't
simple
any
yes
good
or
black
no.
men, but you're married
No,
to a
it's
black
not
man.
a simple yes or no.
So
But it's not a simple yes or no. I said some things about him is good. Yeah. I mean, but it's a lot of things about him that he's not right on, and I would not consider that a good. If you wanted me to answer honestly, I would not consider that a good black man, and he know how I feel. We talked about this.
okay, that's on. That's on. Now your question. You had a
Yeah,
question,
go ahead,
but
carry on.
sister just listen. Go ahead, Chandra. You had a question for her.
What's wrong with me?
I asked her. I said, "Do she have a man?" Since she asked me, I'm wondering, where's your man? No kids either, huh? That part. They ain't wifing up y'all. They not wifing up the mammies.
Look,
You just be
look,
there to
look,
be they ride or die.
boo boo.
Sis, get
Listen,
some
I've been
self-esteem.
proposed. I've been proposed to plenty of times. I'm not gonna settle. You might have settled.
Ah,
I'm not
girl,
gonna settle.
please. The way you
I,
mammy,
you,
you might as well.
you just said you settled. You just sat there and
I did.
elaborated
I
in a
did.
different way that you settled. I'm not
I
gonna
did.
settle just to say
I
I
did.
got a husband.
But
Just
you,
I
but
got
you
a
42
husband,
with no
but you
kids
really
and
not
not
happy.
married. So where you
You
think you
you
the one?
you
So
got
you
a
must be Kevin
husband.
Samuels. You gonna die alone, sis.
I don't care. You the one that's talking about I got a husband, but he's not a good black man.
It is what it is. But I love black men, unfortunately. I tried to divest. I do
Um,
not like white men. I don't. I
Okay,
okay,
I'm
dated and
what
sorry.
everything. I don't like them. They're not my type. I love
what
black men. And
what's
I
the
love my
what's the
husband. And it is
unfortunate
what it is.
aspect?
I love,
What's
hey, I'd rather deal with him and all his bullshit. Put it that way.
Chandra? What's the unfortunate aspect of your love for black men?
I
You said as
settled
if it's
because
caused you detriment. Can you elaborate on that?
wait a minute, it's called, say it one more time.
You say that as if it caused you detriment, your love for black men. Can you elaborate on that?
I think it has. I think it has because I think it has to a lot of black women. I think because a lot of black women are loyal and most black women only date black men and it's not a lot of good black men. You know what I'm saying? We end up it be due to our detriment. Like like look at Eve. She dated all them derelict black men, got dogged out, cheated on, nothing out of relationships. And then look who she married. She married a white man, a billionaire. Now she's living lavish. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if more black women would open their, horizons and date out, they would get better men. But they got to go in those communities with standards and with boundaries. You know what I'm saying? We're taught as black women not to have them. We're taught just as long as he a man and he want to be with us, that's it. That's all he got to have. He ain't got to bring nothing
We
to the
got we
table.
got a couple people in the comments saying we need us. Oh, well, if you say get in here, if you got something to say and you feel that Chandra's being ganged up on or whatever, come on in and say what you got to say. I'm gonna drop the link I'm gonna drop the link.
Okay, who is? Because I don't know who is Chandra.
She right there.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes, everyone can hear you.
Okay, so hey y'all, my name is Lenny. I'm Tony's little sister. I wasn't here for the previous podcast, but based on what it is that you guys are talking about now, I agree with my sister to a certain extent. So I do totally agree that when it comes to raising your kids, whether you are in a single parent home, whether that's a mother or a father is definitely needed, or a father figure is definitely needed to be able to raise that boy into the man that he needs to be. So yes, regardless of if you are with a man or not, whether it be your brother, your uncle, your nephew, whomever, they still need that manly figure in their life, whether you in a relationship with them or not, so that they can be able to know what a man looks like. And I do agree with the whole fact of, if you don't have a man, right, and you don't have probably people in your family that can be that man, you should go out and do that. Because that's just like whether you have a teacher in school. You know good and well that when you go to the classroom, if you see that it's a man, and definitely a black man, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, bet. So with that being said, you can't say that, oh, as a woman, a single black woman, that you can be able to raise your man the way he needs to go, because we're not black. We're not black men. So we don't know exactly the ins and outs of what to do. Regardless of, even if you done raised some, been around some, we are not men. But I do understand that when it comes to a woman looking for a man, right, they should have qualifications. A lot of women in the black community tend to settle because they choose to not be alone. They rather not be alone. So they're like, oh, okay, well, he has some of these qualities, so I'm going to get with him because, shoot, I don't want to be by myself. I want to be loved some type of way. And to their detriment, they are hurting their sons in the household because, say, for instance, if you with that man 5 years, now they gone because y'all done got into it. Those kids have gained a bond with that man. So now it's back to the drawing board. And that's going to be a part of them that either you talk about it with your kids or not. A lot of people don't talk about it with their kids for the reason for why that didn't happen. And that should be something that you talk to them about once they get a certain age, as they get to thinking about dating, so they can be privy to it. But the black community don't like to talk about it with their kids because they think they kids. Meanwhile, kids are now being kids and having babies. We need to start having these conversations, just like we have conversations about everything else. That's a serious conversation. The same way as being black and getting pulled over. The same way with everything that's going on in Texas and the murders that are at schools. Just like you talked about other serious things, that is something that you need to have in your household, is family conversations about dating, about what a woman's role is, about what a man's role is.
I do. But first off, with the whole thing wrong with what you just said is, you said a man getting to know the kids. First off, if you having kids and stuff, you're supposed to be married. It's supposed to be the dad anyway. So that's wrong right there. First off, and I agree with you. No, black women cannot raise black men, or not all the way. We're not men. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, to black women's detriment is that it's not that they want to be alone. It's that they just want a man. They want a black man, and they'll take him as he is. If they open up and start dating, and I know a lot of black women do not like white men. We don't. I know I don't. I'm not attracted to them, and I can't. I'm not that type. I guess men are different. They could date somebody they're not attracted to and use them and stuff. I can't do it. I tried it. I went on a date. I couldn't do it. I can't use nobody. I'm just not that type of person. If I don't like you, I don't like you. I love black men. And yes, that is to my detriment. I feel like I can have a better life if I was with a man, a more go-getter and all this stuff, but I don't want that. I want my husband. But I feel like my girls, they're young. I don't want them to even get involved with most black men. Okay, I want them to open their horizons and date whoever is good for them. I'm teaching my girls, and I'm teaching my boys to be men too.
If the thing is, there are so few black men that are of substance, and this is to Chandra, if there are so few black men that are of substance, what about those few black men? Like, are they already taken? Like, what's up with them? Why can't those men be snatched up? Why can't those men be husband material for women like we had the conversation. We had the conversation last time, and I talked about the criteria by which black women choose men, and you admittedly said you like thugs. So how it just kind of baffles my mind that you go in saying I like thugs, but I want a black man that's a provider and there's a substance and there's all this other stuff. When you attracted to thugs.
But I like thugs that provide. First off. But I'm sorry, that's just the way I was raised. That's what we was raised around. I'll tell you, we was raised in South Central Los Angeles, home of the scandalous. Come on now. Is that my fault? That's what I was raised around, and that's the type of man I like. Twyla was raised like that, and she don't like thugs. So I don't know. I guess it's just me.
But do you think that Twyla she messed with some thugs? But do you think that more so is to your detriment than the fact that it's black men? Maybe it's the type of black men that you go for. Do you not factor that in?
Well, I mean, of course, but there's not. I mean, even the ones that they say are good guys are abandoning their kids, not marrying. Most black men do not get married, or they wait. They'll be engaged for like 10, 20 years and shit. And you know that's true, Dante. Most black men do not get married. Other communities, people 19, 20 get married. You know what I'm saying? In other communities, but not in the black community. They don't. They don't marry.
We got a comment from Yoongi's favorite. I would like to address that comment. She says, that's why a man should stay in the household and raise his kids. Let's talk about the one dude who's 34 years old with 33 children. Okay. What are your thoughts on the dude? 34-year-old dude has 33 children. I don't know how many. Do you know how many baby mamas? Do you know how many baby mamas?
I think 10 or 11. 10 or 11. I just watched that story today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want to chime in on that?
Yeah, please, somebody. That's ridiculous. That's
Sister, would you like to chime in on that? What are your thoughts on that?
I can't. Tony Tony always got something to say. Hold on. I feel like there definitely is. I don't know. How do I say this?
Nothing wrong with it as long as he take care of his kids.
It's nothing wrong with it if he takes care of his kids, but regardless, right? He has to be able to have time because it depends on what his job is and if he has time for his kids. So it don't matter.
Truck driver.
Financially stable, take care of them, but he needs to have time for his kids. And so that's what irritates me because that's what I want to make sure. If he is in their lives on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis to be able to help nurture and raise them, then yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but I don't see his baby mamas complaining. It's somebody else complaining.
They said
some of them are embarrassed to get on there. They didn't even want to know.
Say that they're because they didn't have all those kids.
They should have known better than to fuck him.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct.
What the hell? That's what my point is. Why is the blame always have to be on the man? Why? When a woman has... Can you mute Chandra, please?
Yeah, Chandra, mute. You got music in the back. Turn that down. Come on. The hell? Go ahead.
Like I'm always trying to defend men, but truth is truth, y'all. Why is it that that women always want to blame the man for every fucking thing? Like y'all just don't have no control over your fucking bodies. Like get the fuck out of here.
Choices, yeah.
Like you have no control in your choices in your body. Everybody always want to blame the man. Oh, he got 33 kids. I'm pretty sure he had a few before that woman laid down with him, and that woman.
No, I agree with you on that one. Whoever messing with him is dumb as hell. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about a lot of men.
Let's put this in perspective. One man, 11 women, 33 children. One man who's completely sexually irresponsible.
Clearly.
How many women were sexually irresponsible for that to happen? We're talking one man, 11 women. Go ahead.
So you mean to tell me the third baby mama didn't know he already had 2 baby mamas? The fourth baby mama didn't know he already had 3. The fifth didn't know he already had 4, and so on and so on. But then everybody was saying, on this 33 years, that's
give birth, right?
No.
Your audio is cutting out a little bit, Sister Just
Yeah.
Listen. Your audio is cutting out a little bit.
No, and that's where I'm getting to. That's when I say black women will accept a man. It's not only him. I know people in our community, people that I know, Dante know them too. They're doing the same thing. And they keep having kid after kid with different women, and they keep doing it. And it's a lot of them in the black community.
But
and
again,
that's what I'm saying about black women accepting anything.
But again, I'm gonna just chime in for 1 second. I'm gonna let y'all go. We're talking about, I know the people you're talking about, but we're still talking about one man and a plethora of women. So how are we not talking about the women? It's that one man's fault. So it's not the 11 women's fault.
No, it's their fault too. It's their fault too. I'm not taking, no, they're to blame too.
Okay. Go ahead, chime in, sister.
Okay, so my thing with that is, I feel like it's more so when it comes to having children. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That mama's baby, daddy's maybe, because I was literally married for 10 years, had 2 children by this man. And so my thing is, he wanted a plethora. He's from Mariana. So he wanted 10, 15, as many as he can get, right? At the time, we were not financially stable. I made the decision to say, you know what? I'm only going to have a certain amount. And boom, we're not together no more. So I ended up having one outside of that after I had been married, and me and him are not together anymore. So now I have 3 children that I have to take care of by myself. If you are not financially stable, emotionally stable, mentally stable to be able to take on these children by yourself, don't lay up and have kids with no man, because it's not, yes, it's their responsibility just as it is yours, but in reality, who is supposed to take care of these kids and nurture them and raise them accordingly? The mother is. Because in so many ways they try to say gender role is not here no more. They're going to always have gender roles. A man is supposed to bring home the bacon. Meanwhile, the woman is supposed to nurture and raise the children and take care of the household. So with that being said, it's 2022. As a woman, regardless, black, white, Mexican, whatever you want to call it, at the end of the day, a mother is still obligated to take care of their child regardless. A man to take care for their child.
Do you know how hard that is?
I think. Wait, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go for a second, but I just kind of want to clarify.
Okay, just real quick, because I'm a working mama. Okay, I used to do 12-hour shifts. Okay, you can't run the household and work at the same time. That's why women are meant to be at home nurturing the kids. But you expect us to nurture the kids and work 100%. That's why men are supposed to be the providers, but they're not providing. So we have to take on every single role. So that's why the black community is fucked. Because you're right. Ain't nobody there to nurture them kids, because we have to work to support our kids, because ain't nobody else to do it.
With that being said, that's what that goes all the way down, literally from the kids all the way to being in a relationship. So that's when, because I had saw somebody said before a while back, somebody said you need to take care of yourself before you get a man or something like that. And that's where it comes down to, how many can you take care of by yourself? Yes, you are thinking about help or wanting or expecting help, but at the same time, as a person birthing a child, a human being into this world, being pregnant 9 months, you know good well you're gonna feel more obligated to take care of that child. So yes, when we talk about men and getting into relationships, we want to be able to have somebody that's going to meet us halfway as far as raising that child. But at the same token, we have to also understand that as a woman, we really run everything, whether it comes to the household, whether it comes to the.
We're not supposed to.
I think. Wait. Let me chime in. Let me chime in for one quick. Chandra, hold on, Chandra, for 1 second.
That's the fucking problem with the black community.
Chandra, I don't want to. Chandra, okay, we got to mute Chandra for a second. Hold on, Chandra.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So what? I think what she's getting at is the biological responsibility falls in the lap of the woman. So the woman should be more scrutinous when choosing a sexual partner. If I'm not mistaken, that's kind of what I got.
You're mistaken. Well, if she said that, that's bullshit. How the
so
hell?
The woman, you don't feel.
Wait.
So you don't feel the woman bears
God don't hold
the
just
man.
the woman responsible.
So they say sperm is cheap and eggs are expensive. So the man, he can bust and leave. You have to sit with that sperm, develop that sperm into a child, go through morning sickness, all kind of other stuff, not to mention after the baby is born, breastfeeding, so on and so forth. So you bear more of a biological responsibility when having a child.
And that's why we're supposed to be provided for
in that process
during that time, but we're not.
Say that. Hold on, back up. Say that again, because you were talking while I was talking. Hold on, back up. I'm done. Now you may speak. We got to get some order to this because there are people watching this.
Okay. And that's why we're supposed to be provided for and protected during that time. Because I know with me, when I had to go back to work after a week, my baby was a week old, I fucking cried. It was hard on me. Women are not supposed to go through that.
But it goes back to what I was saying. The biological responsibility is more so on you. So you should be even more scrutinous to make sure you have a man that's going to. Shahrazad Ali talked about this. She said before the female rat mates with a male rat, she snips him out and makes sure he can build a nest and he can do certain things to provide for her for the baby rats. So if a rat is using that reproductive scrutiny, why aren't black women using the same scrutiny?
Niggas are worse than rats. That's what I'm hearing from that. And that make no motherfucking sense.
Hold on.
Rat. Wait. Let's get what's your name on here? What's your Emanon, whatever. Let me get you in. Go ahead. Speak up.
So all right, so I kind of just jumped in here, and I'm seeing what the individual to the second camera and the third camera saying, and I think you bring up some very interesting points. But I'd also say that, as far as a household is concerned, I mean, it's to each their own as far as like what's considered acceptable, right? You're saying that the women should just be at home and that a man should just have a job. Well, to a degree, I definitely agree with you, but I'd have to say that arguably sometimes the job is the problem. It's not that, there are certain individuals that want to do it, but aren't doing it simply because that's just outside of their means. So if the woman decides to stay, then at that point, it's really on you. We're not the ones who decide if you have a kid or not. That's your body and you. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying men are worse than rats. I'm a little confused on that. Because it sounds like, you're not taking accountability for the choices that you made.
So what are black men doing? Are they taking accountability? When I said men are worse than rats, because in the animal community,
wait, 1 second. You asked them a question. Let him respond. You've been able to talk a lot, Chandra. Let him respond.
Okay, all right. But that's what I meant by that.
Could you pose the question again so he can chime in? Go ahead.
He said, why did I say men are worse than rats? Men are worse than most animals because most animals know that they're supposed to provide. You know what I'm saying? That comes natural for them. Black
Counselor,
men
the question
don't. That's what I mean. They're worse than rats.
But you had posed the question. Do you remember the question?
Right, Counselor, the question.
I didn't get the question. You had a question.
I believe it was about the accountability of men.
Yes,
but I'm not entirely certain.
There you go. Yes. Do you believe men hold themselves accountable in this realm?
I'd say as a vast majority, no.
No.
And I'm not saying that that's good. I've literally had, a woman who sat back and said, nut in me, and then took all the responsibility of taking care of what she wanted to take care of. She terminated the pregnancy, and I was like, okay, but that's what you told me to do. So were you not preparing yourself for this interaction where you took off like women take off the condom too? You know what I'm saying? We aren't doing our duty and making sure that we pick the person before, we please that booty or whatever. But at the same token, like, I mean, I'm not the person who has to harbor this. I'm not this person that is shaping and molding another individual for 10 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that we don't have a responsibility, but just like, you say it's your body, your choice, right? It is your body and it is your choice on who you decide to sit down with. If you're not
I
comfortable,
I don't
you
believe in
know,
that. So don't say that to me because I don't believe in abortion. I think that's a
okay.
sin, and
Tony,
I think that's murder. That's
sister,
murder
just
to me.
listening. Get in. You ain't said nothing in a while. Go ahead. Come on.
Okay. I want women to start taking accountability for not making the right choices with who you lay down with. Getting to know that man before you actually get intimate with him. If you, like I said last time, podcast, if you get to know a person, and not saying you have to wait the whole 6 months before you have sex with them, but if you just protect yourself as much as possible, be as cautious as much as possible, and sit back and evaluate that person for a whole 6 months, you will know if you have someone who's trustworthy enough to go that route and take the possibility of having kids with them. That will resolve a lot of unwanted parenthood in the black communities. Because at the end of the day, majority of these women who are running around, he won't do shit for his child, then take the time to get to know that man to know that he wouldn't do shit
That
if he
part.
had a child.
Yes.
Six. Go ahead and chime in.
Just to piggyback off of that, you know what I'm saying? It's like even still with the situation of not even just taking your time, but also being able to like acknowledge like those red flags in the sense that certain people possess. Like even still just not even and even just having the eye to like realize people for who they are. And it does take time to, like that 6 month period. I say it takes no man more than 6 months to know if he wants to marry that woman or not. Period. You know what I'm saying? Because that you go through that honeymoon phase. After like 3 months, shit start getting real, and in those 3 months where shit gets real, you'll really get to see the character of that person. And it's true. Like just having a conversation last night. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the woman's responsibility to, make sure that she's with a trustworthy person. Because the highest honor that you can give a man is to have his lineage go on to the next generation. Like that's the highest honor. You know what I'm saying? Something that I learned last night from a wise nigga, right? Whatever. So it's just like, like even like in a situation like with my sister, it's like she just, recently had a baby. And the dude that she, got the kid with, I already got a bunch of kids and a bunch of baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? It's like not only is he like irresponsible, but so is everybody else in that situation because it's like you can't. How can you like look past the fact that he had all these kids by these different women and think that just because you is the different individual in the cycle that it's gonna change? Like as long as you stay in the same cycle, nothing is gonna change. So it's going to take a joint effort from both sides to do it. But ultimately, as women, they definitely have to pick better mates when it comes to raising kids. I mean, that's just that
Well said.
responsibility
Okay,
mainly falls on the woman.
we have a new guest. Hold on 1 second, everybody. Hold up. We have a new guest, Jayla. Would you like to chime in on the conversation? I think you were in the comments speaking your piece. So go ahead, speak your piece.
Yes, it's not a woman's fault or a decision. Women shouldn't have to be
Can you speak
choosing.
up though? Can you speak up?
Yeah, women shouldn't have to be choosing
I think
who.
you're covering your mic or something. I don't know what's going on, but you kind of muffled, whatever. But just speak up as much as possible.
Women shouldn't have to be choosing who they lay down with.
Even worse.
It should be like for having children and everything else. It's also a man's job and responsibility to provide for their children, and it's in for them to even go around having kids or anything like that. They should be held accountable for their kids. If they ain't paying their child support, if they ain't taking care of their children, if they ain't doing what they supposed to do, how can you even call yourself a man?
So your point, you're saying women should not be responsible if
Men,
for who they lay down with.
my thing
Am I
is,
correct?
my thing is, men go around doing anything that they want to do, and then they come home, and they still will do whatever they want to do. They can kiss their woman, they can do whatever. I'm saying for men should be held accountable. They should be the ones saying, I should be doing my duties. It's not my fault that I go around. If I decide to have a man, if I decide to have a kid with someone, and he got 10 plus children, it ain't my fault that he had 10 plus children. And I shouldn't be accountable for all that either. I shouldn't be, just because I choose him, it's my fault. And I should know because of the cycle and everything. That's not my problem. That's not my fault.
But
Ma'am, that's
but
your
just
booger. You picked it.
go ahead. Somebody else chime in on that. Go ahead.
So question. So I hear what you're saying, but I'm also gonna have to say no because speaking from personal experience, this whole child support shit is not even real. It's not even. It's not even ethical because there are
Ethical.
people who do what they can. It's not ethical. It's not. Ma'am, if you knew the laws in my state, you would not agree.
Where do you
I haven't
live?
seen my daughter in 5 months. 5 months. I don't want to hear that. You are not phasing me
What does
because
it have
I
to
know
do
what
with
kind of
child
person I
support
am.
though? But what is that?
Because
What
the
is
child support is supposed to allow me to have the visitation of my daughter. If
No,
I'm,
it ain't
I didn't
supposed
even need
to.
to pay that. I didn't even need to
If
pay
you
that to
don't pay
begin
no
with.
child support, that's the problem.
I did not have any child support to pay, love. I was taking my daughter a week on and a week off. There was no need to support anything.
Jayla, do
I
something with your mic. Do something with your
yeah.
mic, sis. I want to hear your perspective, but your mic is
Pause your mic or
janky right now.
something.
It's super janky. Do something. Get you
I
some
don't
headphones
agree.
or something.
All right, hold on.
All right, do what you got to do. I'm I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna take you off. We got other people want to come in,
All
so I'm gonna
right,
bring
yeah,
somebody else
yeah.
in. You can just come back when you get
All
your
right.
mic straight. Okay.
Now
And
I
so I'd
don't.
also like to add really quick that
Okay.
sometimes you find women in a manipulative situation to where they will utilize the system to basically just live. It is not my job solely to look out and see if you be the best mother of my child because maybe you're not supposed to be the mother of my child in my eyes. Maybe you were just a hit and quit. I'm not saying even in those instances you need to make sure, but there are more repercussions. Like sexually speaking, there are more repercussions to a woman's body of her not maintaining herself than a guy. Because there are things that go ahead. You look like you want to say something.
I definitely want to say something.
Go
That ain't
ahead.
black women. That ain't black women doing that. That's them preferences that's doing that. That's getting all them
Who?
NBA stars and them football players. Because what they give you on child support in the black community, they be making niggas pay $25 a month. That ain't helping shit. Now, those preferences that the football players and everybody giving them, they are having babies for child support.
Ma'am, I'm not paying $25. I wish I was. I
And
wish I was.
666. I'm gonna bounce you out for a second. If you got something to say, chime back in. I can only do 6 at a time. Okay. I'm gonna bounce you out. Go ahead. Resume the conversation.
But yeah, I mean, it's not. It's damn near $700. And what the system is making it seem like is that I haven't been there for my daughter. And so that's what's frustrating to me is because the child support enforcement office that I tried to talk to, they told me we don't deal with that. And I have to wait another month just to see a judge that'll actually hear what I have to say. I've had no parts of the matter. In my state, I am in a state that is for mothers. It is not for fathers. And this individual has told the courts and everybody I am not her father. Then why am I on child support? Please make it make sense. I
So
did
so
not see
just
these red
a,
flags.
just a question to keep with the topic. Do you, Chandra, do you feel a woman not going to the support office is a form of pick me behavior or mammy behavior?
It depends. If he is taking care of the child and he's in that child's life, there's no way. What's the use of child support? I think that's wrong when women do that. You know what I'm saying? And I just learned that if a guy be buying stuff for the baby, but they're not actually paying the child support, the court don't count none of that. And I think that's wrong too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying the child support system is right, but for a poor mom, especially these guys out here having all these baby mamas and stuff, you dumb not going to the system and putting them on child support. Yes, I think that's very pick me behavior.
Ma'am, you dumb for going out and having sex knowing you're not in a capable position to be able to
And
provide
what
for the
are you?
child.
And what are you? You dumb for coming in a bitch. Put a fucking condom on, nigga.
What else? Now, so that's
Um,
what I'm talking about. She
I'm
said that as
I'm
if
I'm finna bounce KB, since you haven't contributed. I'm gonna bounce you out for a second. If you'd like to say something, just try to add yourself back in. I'll bring you back on. I'm gonna bring in Yoongi's favorite. Add to stream. Let me see. Move from stream. Add to stream. I gotta pay for this so I can get more than. All right. Okay.
he
All
Lord,
just
right. Yeah,
said,
good.
we got more of a balanced panel of women now. So let's go ahead with it. Let's go ahead with it. I'd like to hear from Yoongi's favorite, since you just chimed in. You've been hearing the conversation. You've been commenting. Go ahead. What do you got to say on the topic?
Okay,
my
can
thing. Oh,
you can hear me?
You next. Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, so I just heard this. Like, I understand that women should be held accountable on men they choose. I agree with that, but men should be held accountable on the women they choose as well. Because if you're telling us we need to get to know this man for 6 months more, well, it should be the same for the man. If you chose a woman that's not cooperating on the child, the co-parenting, then that's on you. Like you tell us, it's on us when we choose bad men. Well, that's on you guys if you choose a woman who ain't shit. And that's just my opinion. And it'll be better for one if we can co-parent. It'll be two parents who get along for one, but it'll be much better if y'all just stay in the same household so that child could grow up thinking like, okay, my mom and dad love each other. This is normal. Instead, it's going out and it's seeing both parents interact with each other, but yet it's mom and father cannot get along and they don't not talk to each other, and they feel, I don't know, because I'm not in that situation, because I had both parents in my household, but children who I've been around, they feel neglected by the other parent, and it causes a whole nother generational, and it goes over and over again with the generation curse, and it's just sad, in my opinion.
But what if your behavior is pick me because the father wants to be involved with the child, but not you?
If the father won't be involved with the child, that's good. But if the woman chooses not to allow that man to be in that child's life, I mean, that's the bitch. You should have chose better. That's my opinion. Choose better. You should have known that. You should have like the lady said in the middle. You should have known that she was a bitch, and you should. I'm sorry because you should have known that she
You
was
could you could you
not
could
the
curse
right
here.
one,
You could
and you should
curse
have
here. You're
chose
fine.
better.
Speak freely. Speak
I
passionately.
mean,
Just don't disrespect anybody. Go ahead.
Right. So I'd also agree with what you're saying. And I'm not saying that men can't do it too. And I'm not even going to speak on my own, but I'll say that there are people that are able to disguise things out here. So you may not even know that a person has been pretending this whole time. And that's for both guys and girls. When I tell you I had no clue that this Joker was this Joker, you couldn't have told me I didn't know him. But at the same time and token, yeah, we are held responsible. But at the end of the day, like if I got up and moved states away, nobody's gonna find me, right? Nobody's looking for me, blase, blase, we, it's up to that mom. But even in my own life, I never got to know my father because of who my mother was, not because of who my father is. And so I get what you're saying. Yeah, guys need to pick better women, right? But in certain situations, women need to make sure that if you are going to pick certain men, even if they aren't your cup of tea, don't be the reason why your child is not involved. Because there are a lot of women that'll think with their heart instead of their head. And that's what a problem is too. It's not just, oh, well, you'll pretend to be this person for X amount of time while he gives you what you want. And then when he doesn't, now you are emotionally strangling him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear you. We responsible, but the person who's got to bring the life, cultivate the life, it's just you and that baby for the longest time is you. You have to make
Okay.
sure that you're
Okay.
in a good state of mind.
Sister, just listen. I got you on ice. You next. I want to hear from Jayla. Hopefully she got that janky mic figured out and we can hear her properly. Jayla, say what you got to say, man. Say what you got to say. If I can't hear you, I'm gonna have to bounce you because your mic. Man. Now I can't hear nothing. I can't hear nothing you saying. All right. Come back. Get the shit straight. Come back. All right. I think Tony, you go ahead.
I just want.
I'm finna bring you back in, Youngi's favorite. I gotta swap you out for Jayla because she don't know what to do with her mic game. Oh, Youngi's favorite. Yeah, let me get you back. There you go. All right, you
I
back.
just, at what age did y'all learn that you could get pregnant? And how often were you reminded that you can get pregnant? Because me,
Okay. Wait, I'm gonna give them 1 second. Y'all answer that question in 3 or 4 words. The women on this panel, answer that question very briefly. Yogi's favorite. At what age did you realize you can get pregnant?
At the age that my parents taught me.
What age was that? Just one, because we want.
I'll say they didn't really. I'll say around like 13 or 12. I was told. But what
Like,
about the males?
probably like, around puberty. Around puberty. Okay. All right. And for you, Chandra, same question.
Yeah, when puberty hit. But okay. I didn't have a baby till I was 24. So.
Okay. Now, Tony, finish your point.
Okay. I don't know. But me growing up, I learned about sex at 10. I was given the whole sex talk. Maybe because I matured early, I had a period early, but I was reminded constantly every day that I could have a baby if I lay down with this dude or this dude. I was reminded every day of the possibility of STDs and condoms. And I'm 42 years old. So my grandmother was in my head every fucking day until I moved out at 18 of what could go on if you let the wrong dude getting you raw. If you just decide to lay down, you gonna get pregnant. She didn't tell me it was no if or you can't. You gonna get pregnant. So that fear stayed on the tip of my shoulder my whole fucking life. So I'm just wondering why, with a lot of black women, that doesn't sit on the tip of y'all's shoulder and y'all have an excuse for having babies by these nothing ass niggas. Like, did y'all not have guidance reminding you every day of the
we're gonna let the women on the panel answer that question, and then we're gonna go to level 4 perspective, and then I'm gonna have to do some shifting around because we got a couple people in queue as well. I can only do 6 at a time. Let's move.
Okay, really quick, because I know you want to talk, Cherokee. She probably was a mammy. Most older black women were mammies. You see how you said she was on you? Most black women are on their girls. They teach their girls, don't do this, do that. You be like this. But what was she doing it to? She was doing that to the males? That's the problem. She was probably a mammy, and she made sure you knew. But who was telling them males to strap up? Like, if you don't come in a bitch, she can't get pregnant. It's that simple.
Can I say something before you say something, ma'am? I'm so sorry.
Go, yeah, you're next. Go ahead.
I wanted to say this because from my own experience, I have a father who I'm the oldest out of all 7 kids. And the boy, my younger brother, he's younger than me. And he had a girlfriend. And I had to have my first boyfriend until I was like 20. I was like 21 years old when I had my first boyfriend. So, but he had a girlfriend at age 14, 15. And my father would let him sleep with this girl inside the house. And my brother's raw dogging her. I mean, all types of hoes, using all the hoes. I mean, my father not telling my son nothing like be careful STDs, getting her pregnant. He's just having sex with anybody and it don't matter. You can bring anyone in the house. When it comes to me, I can't have no one in the house. I can't have a boyfriend. You better know better. Men nutting you. You're going to get left with a baby. That's going to be all on you. And that's unfair. Why is it that women have to sit here and we have to take on all the burden and men get to go out and freely nut in every bitch they meet? And I mean, just like NBA Youngboy and all these other males, they're having freaking multiple kids, Future, Nick Cannon, and they're bragging about it like it's good, and that's not good. You're making the community more broken than what it already is. And I'm not.
Okay, let's get level 4 perspective in on this, and then we'll chime back to you, sister. Just listening. Let's go.
It's probably somebody else that got a better comment, but I'm waiting for a legitimate argument before I chime in.
Okay, I'm gonna bounce you out, and I'm gonna bring somebody else in your place right now. Okay. And
If I
anytime you
could, just
figure
really
you don't
quickly.
have anything to add to the conversation, let me know, because we can only do 6 at a time, and just so we can keep this going. Okay.
Yeah, so I want to also add that, just in case some of y'all are not aware, condoms are not 100 proof. So I do understand you saying to strap up, but it's not just condoms. Condoms break, depending on how, things are, condom temperature, how rough or not soft, whatever you is, like there are a million different things that can happen. And again, condoms are not 100 proof. So to say that a dude isn't strapping up, you're making it seem like it's like, oh, fuck that. At the same time, in token, I'd like to add that, you could be right, Miss Yongi, because
Yoongi.
a lot of times, I'm sorry,
Yoongi.
Yungi's, my apologies. But I was told at 7. I was told if I got caught holding a girl's hand, she was gonna get pregnant. I didn't have my first child till 25. I have never been caught slipping, dripping, and tripping. Never. But somebody got off birth control and didn't tell somebody. So yes, I should have done more. But every scenario is not the same in which you're probably describing for everyone. And if I take myself out of the equation, I know of several other individuals who similar things have happened, or the girl took the condom off. So I get what you're saying. Yeah, just make sure that you sitting down with somebody, but you don't know somebody. Even for 6 months, there have been people who've been married 30 years and you're still learning stuff about them. People can pretend a lot. And depending on how lost in love or fallen in love you are, you will miss every sign. But you'll see it in your friend. You just won't see it in yourself. So it's just best to make sure you love yourself enough to understand what you will and won't put up with when you start talking to a guy. And don't just be like, well, he ain't 6'4" and got 6 figures, so I don't want him. You know what I'm saying? Be realistic with your standard. Look at people as books and not to judge them as covers.
I do
Find
want to
them
say
for the content of their character.
I will say real quick that I'm sorry, but I do agree. Like I don't know why everybody always think that 6 feet tall is all good. I like short boys, and I don't know, maybe I'm just different, but I like short boys. I don't really like the hood guys. I'm more a nerd myself, you know. I don't do the hood type 6 feet tall. No.
Triple six. Let's get you in for a second. Any comments, questions, concerns? Come on.
To be honest, nah, not really. I mean, I think certain valid points are being made. Still, again, just everything good.
So when we're talking about and this is to you, Triple Six, when we're talking about the sexual irresponsibility of women, how have you experienced that in your own personal life? Because you're a little younger. How old are you? How old are you, Triple
I'm
Six?
32. I'm 32.
You're 32. Okay, so you're a little. Most of the people on this panel are in their 40s. I think Youngie is pretty young. Emanon, how old are you? Emanon, how old are you? You're muted.
30.
I'm muted. 30. Okay. All right. I just wanted to get an age range to figure out where we were. Go ahead. What's been your experience?
So I could say this, like, just based off of like the generational experience for me. It's like my mom had me and my sister like hella young, like, you know what I'm saying, 14, 15, right? And like that's just hella irresponsible. But not only in that aspect, it's that shit fall on the parents and the adults that was around too. For the simple fact that happened. And it's just like, you know, so every time my mom gets a year older, I feel like, damn, I get a year older as well because we that close in age. And it's just like for me, I'm at 32, I don't have no kids.
Where we at?
And like just based off of having that generational curse or whatever you want to call it, that's like one of the reasons why I was like, shit, I'm gonna make sure that I be careful out here and, you know, shit, not get nobody pregnant up until I'm actually ready for kids. So yeah. I mean, I could say how that's impacted my life, and I think that's like generational within my family as well because, you know what I'm saying? I mean, shit, it's not too many women in my family that I can sit up and say made great choices with women, not women, but with men and who they had children with. And the same thing could be said for the men.
Can I ask a question to that point?
Yeah.
Do you believe that the good men were even an option? Were there good men around them? Or is
Uh,
that all they had to choose from? Because that's kind of the argument that's being put out right now. Like there are no good men, so they just chose what was around, what was in proximity.
yeah, I mean, I feel like that. You know what I'm saying? There are always good men and good women around. I think it's more so what you like focused on. If you always focus on the negative, and that's what you're gonna see the most. If you looking for certain characteristics in people, you know what I'm saying. If you got that in yourself, it's gonna show. I don't know if I got off the question or whatever,
No,
but
that's
yeah.
perfect. That's perfect. Okay, who we at? Where we at? Tony, go ahead. My bad.
That could be it too. I was raised around certain type of men. Um, I didn't have men in my family who were in gangs or drug dealers or anything like that. My mom was in that life, but as far as in my family, all of the men were, warehouse workers or worked at the Chevy warehouse or, you know, 9 to 5 labor type men at home on the weekends chilling with the kids. So I have that example of those type of upstanding, trustworthy men. And maybe that's where the issue falls when I do speak with majority of black women who didn't have that example or they wasn't raised like me. They look at me as a mammy or a pick me chick because my life was totally different with black men. And majority of it's sad to say majority of black women these days did not have a good track record with black men. They
Okay.
didn't have home.
What? Hey, what happened to Jayla? What happened to Jayla? I want. Wait, what's going on? Somebody. Okay, that's you. Yeah. What happened to Jayla? I want to get her back in here because I wanted to hear her perspective. We're gonna have to do a GoFundMe for Jayla's new mic or something. But go ahead, Yoongi. It's on you.
Okay, what's the topic? Because I'm confused. Because I was listening, but
Well, it's
Let
not
me
on you.
chime in.
Go ahead, Chandra. I know you got something to say.
You already know. Well, all I'm saying is this: the reason why most black women choose wrong men is because most black women choose black men. Like I said, if they open up and divest to different races of men, they will have more of a pool to choose from, and they could probably find better men. So you guys agree with me, basically.
so can
Uh,
I
I saw level 4 perspective face when that popped off. So I want to hear what he got to say about that.
I mean, I can respect your personal opinion on that. I think at the same time you open that door, you opening the door to a whole lot of things that you may not be ready for, culturally, abandonment of the race. You know, that's if you have any racial pride. If you have racial pride, that wouldn't even be it wouldn't even be an option. You wouldn't even consider it.
So what about these black men who are abandoning and being traitors towards their black women? A
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
bunch of them.
Well,
Yeah,
if
you
I
right.
may, even I would also like to add really quick here that that it depends on where you at. I lived up north for a while, and honestly, it wasn't until I moved back to the south that black women even really took an interest in me. And I didn't. It wasn't that. Well, I don't fool with y'all because I don't like y'all. It was that black women didn't fool with me, so I didn't fool with them. Um, but I'll also say that, it just depends. I've literally watched as there have been women around, and not even just black women, just when I was up north, they would see the qualities of a good dude and be like, he's got everything except he missing this. But this guy has nothing except for the one quality in which they lack, and they went for that dude. And here's the dude over here beating her ass, and it's like, what are you doing? Why didn't you just go for the one guy that's missing the one thing that you could really live without, which is that whole 6'4" quality? And I was just like, you could go with this guy that actually genuinely cares about you, is making sure that you are fed, is making sure that you have whatever it is that you need, but because he's lacking just one thing, and I don't even mean like, not even sexually, it's just like it's a you desire this one attribute, And it's like you're just picking the wrong people. It's like y'all went to the bad nigga pick store and you just picked the worst nigga you could find. Like, why are you dealing with this person that doesn't even care to see you, let alone their own child?
Hey,
Like, I'm confused.
level four. Go ahead, chime in on that. Chime in on that.
I think based on what you just said, I think at the end of the day, that's still her perspective. But that's like saying a fat bitch that I don't want to talk to got good qualities, and I'm doing the same thing. So I think it boils down to choice. You do have a choice at the end of the day, whether you're good or bad. That person has a choice.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
I was gonna say that girl that was getting her ass beat, maybe she a masochist. You know, some
Stop
women like
it. You
some
stop
yeah.
it right
I'm
now.
just saying.
You stop it.
Y'all know what you're, but Sandra, you talk like these situations that you bring up, you speak like you're speaking from personal experience. And I'm confused because you say you have a husband at home. Like,
I
Triple
like
six.
mean
I hear
boys.
triple
I ain't
six
saying I want a nigga
going
to whoop
off.
my
Let
ass,
me get it back in.
but you
I'm gonna
better be a
bounce you out
strong
level
ass nigga
four.
fucking with
Triple
me.
six. What you got?
I mean, you just speak. So when it comes to black men dating the other race and there being no good black men in the community, you say all this stuff like you're being affected by it, and you have a husband and you have sons in the household. Like, do you think that they have what type of thing a
I
husband?
think. Well, I'm trying to raise my boys different, but yeah, I think my husband has a lot of derelict ways, a whole bunch of them. I just love him. You know what I'm saying? And like back in the day, like I said, when I met my husband, I wasn't looking to be like, well, I thought I don't know, he was working, he had his own apartment. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't really to looking to be like, dang, do he have a career? What's his goals? He was a black man that I like, and honestly. And that thing about, oh, you got to get to know somebody, honey. Me and my husband messed around. We was messed around the first night, and we've been together ever since. So all that bull crap talking about, oh, get to know somebody, wait this long. If you know what you like what you like. We grown.
I
But
want to.
okay, you say y'all messed around on the first night, and then you wasn't thinking about if he had these type of qualities, but you still had multiple kids by him.
It's too late. I mean, we were already in love. You know what I'm saying? I had 7 kids. All my kids are by him. We've been together 23 years, married 17. Like I said, I feel like it's too late for me. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I'd rather deal with him and all his bullshit. So it is what it is. It's too late for me. But for my girls, I want better for them. And I'm not raising them mammy-fied. I'm not.
Triple
But
six. Go. Tony, say what you got to say. My bad. And then triple six after you. Go ahead.
I'm a pick me mammy though. Okay.
Go ahead.
Hey, at
Go
least
ahead.
I
Go
admitted to
ahead.
mine. I
Go
admitted
ahead.
to mine.
You muted. You muted. Unmute. Unmute.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand because like earlier you did state like that he like left. You know, he was with a pick me. You know, she did everything for him.
Wait.
But you asked him to come back though. You
I
asked
didn't
him to
say he
come
left.
back. So
I didn't say he left. I said
y'all.
I left. I left
Okay,
him.
so you left. Y'all weren't together. You left. And then you asked him back, all right? You asked to have him come back. Like if he's not a good black man or a good man, like what was the reasoning like of like asking him back?
Okay. I tried to divest. I went on dates with white men. As a matter of fact, I could have moved on and been with a white man if I wanted to, but I did not want them.
Why
Everybody I
didn't you
dated,
though?
the more I dated, the more I realized I
But
loved my husband with all of his derelict ways. He still has his derelict ways, but I love him. Like I said, it's too late for me. For me, that's what I think.
I
but
don't
you
think it's
just
ever
said
too
like
late
he
for you,
could
mama.
have went on to like date a good white man. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't too late for you. You had the opportunity. Like, okay, you love your husband. What qualities about him do you love that makes you stay? If he's not a good man, like I'm just trying to
Love.
understand.
Look, don't get it twisted. We've had good times, obviously,
Right.
but What do I love about? Like, I love that he loved black women. I know that much. I know he ain't
Okay.
colorist. He don't. He love my skin color. He
Okay.
loved my African features. He loves me as a black woman. That's one good thing I can say about him.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but you talk about
What
a
about our
white man like he's a better option than the black man, but you're talking about how your husband loves your African features.
Most white men do too. Black men that don't like me. It's mostly dark skinned black men who don't like me.
But
Oh,
that's a
and that's why
self-hate
my
issue if
husband
we
is
could all
light
agree
But you
on
skinned.
have,
that.
but you have somebody that does. So why do they matter? Like your
My
husband
husband is
like you
light
for who you
skinned.
are. Why?
My
So,
husband
Tony,
is
wait,
light
wait. I mean,
skinned.
sister, just listening. Could you elaborate a little further? Because I kind of dig where you was going with that. Elaborate on what you just said and the point you just made.
I'm confused because she always speaks on dating white men like it's a better option than dealing with black men, but
is?
yet but yet she praises her African features and then talks about her light skinned husband. Like what the fuck?
Liz, can I explain? I have no issues with dark men. I actually love dark skinned men. They didn't like me. The men who liked me were mostly light skinned. They liked my skin. And the white men like my skin and my African features. I'm what do you call it? Not a preference, what I'm thinking of. I'm exotic to white men. Just like black men feel like light skinned women and white women are exotic, I'm exotic to white men. But I just don't like them. I like black men and I love my husband. That's the only reason why I'm with him is because I love him.
Okay,
But it,
but you said you're gonna teach your daughters to date white men and to open their options.
Not
Wait,
just white men, any man that's available that's good to them. Any color, any man. They could be black, he
so
could be
so
okay.
Mexican, it don't matter.
so
Let's see. Come on, everybody. Let's see what Jayla got for it. Let's see what she got for it. We didn't gave
Okay,
her.
is it better?
I'll give it to you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, my thing is, it's black is just became in. You know what I'm saying? Black people weren't going for black women. Black women now are just a thing where they starting to love black women when they think, oh, being black is beautiful and everything. Back in the day, not say back in the day because I'm not, but back in those times earlier, previous, black wasn't in. Black wasn't even in commercials. Black wasn't nothing. Like you don't see black anything really. Now that you see people nowadays are like, oh, people love black women. They want to talk about black women. It's good to love yourself. You
Like
see women in commercials and everything now.
I,
Okay,
Black
I,
still
I,
ain't
I would
in.
have to wait. Let me chime in 1 second. I would have to disagree with that as far as how old are you, Jayla?
I'm only 19.
Okay, so see, I'm thinking when you think say back in the day, I'm thinking of my grandparents,
Yeah, yeah.
and my grandparents was black as fuck together. So is this some new? Is this some new thing that we're dealing with? Because I highlight this on several occasions that there was a time when black men ran the community. There was a time, and that time ended in the late '60s and early '70s. So from the late '60s, early '70s until now, we have a matriarchy in the black community. Do you think that contributes to the colorism? Because we talked about this last time, Chandra, as far as how black women perpetuated colorism and texturism and things like that. Like, do you guys see that as a thing? Go ahead. Anybody feel free to chime in.
I say, I can only speak for myself, and I say, even in school and in times, it had taken me. People have different perspectives of where in the country they were, where they were shown, like about the color and everything else. I say up here in the north, I didn't really have that. People came and chose me or wanted to talk to me or boys wanted to talk to me or anything like that. I've been called names and stuff about my skin, but I wasn't until when I went down to Florida and everything else where I was talked to by black boys and everything else. I mean, it just depends on where you at and things like that. I mean, for me, I know that where I've been and where I live at in Michigan and everything else, black boys weren't talking to me. They weren't talking to me. I've been called names and everything else. I say women. I don't really see women perpetuating anything such as with colorism. I say I feel like um colorism is all around, but I don't really see black anything. When I growing up, I didn't see black women in magazines like that. I didn't see them being embraced like how they are now. It's a different time now. Whereas in the media and things, they share love to black women. I just seen a beautiful African woman just displayed in like an Armani or some commercial. I've never seen a girl that dark in any commercial.
So like were
I
you
think women. I'm sorry. I think
go
I
ahead, go
do
ahead.
blame black women some with that colorism stuff. Some.
Because and we highlighted this last time. I rarely have seen, especially back in the day. We can talk about the men of this generation, but the men of the generation that I come from, I never witnessed men address colorism like, "Oh, get your black ass over here, you black ugly." I never heard that from men, but I
Yeah,
did hear it from women.
I heard
I
a
and I
never heard the text.
I,
Oh, combing
I
their daughter's hair. Your hair is so fucking nappy. But
the
I've sat and watched my daughter's grandmother comb through her nappy ass hair. Your hair's so nappy. You got hair like your daddy. I've seen that, but I've never seen a black man exhibit that behavior.
yeah, I told y'all my grandmother worked on the plantation, and she told me where that derives from. It
My bad, y'all.
had
Go ahead, go ahead.
fair skin and less nappy-ish hair got to work in the house and not in the field in the sun. So that's where they come from. It was passed down by black women because it was something that they had to go through. If you had too much kinky hair or you were too dark skinned, you couldn't work in the house. Master wouldn't allow you in the house. You got to go to the field if you're too black and your hair too kinky. My grandmother actually got lucky because she was very dark skinned, but she had very soft curly hair. So she got to be the nanny because they would pass her off as being the Indian. Oh, they would say she was Indian. So that's
How many
kind of what,
times have we heard that Indian stuff, Dante?
yeah.
That's all they talked about with my hair. Me and my sisters. Oh, that's the Indian. And then when I did my ancestry DNA, I ain't got a lick of Indian in me, honey. I'm mostly
Comes,
African.
that comes from the master saying you got Indian in you, so they could pass you off for being in the house.
But
No, I don't.
but
I ain't
but
got no
this is
lick of
what
Indian
I
in me.
remember, and I don't know. When somebody called me, it like messed my audio up. What I think I may
I
have.
can hear you. I can
Oh
hear you.
shit! Hold on, I got a family emergency, y'all. I have to leave
Uh-oh.
right this second.
Okay.
Chandra, you need to call your sister Chantel. We got to figure something out.
Okay.
It's
All right.
baby serious.
Bye.
I gotta get off of it, y'all.
All right.
Till next time.